got so motherfucking design on right now. Bring it down, nigga, come. I got 3 old thoughts on the block.
Welcome back, everyone. We're diving deep today into the lives of some pretty amazing figures from history.
Oh yeah, we're talking about some real giants. Leonardo da Vinci, Nikola Tesla, and Marie Curie.
And we're going to see what their stories can teach us, about pushing boundaries and making a real impact.
All those big things.
Exactly. So buckle up, get ready for some surprising insights, because we're going to kick things off with Leonardo da Vinci, the ultimate Renaissance man.
He was more than an artist, though, right?
Oh, absolutely. He was a true polymath.
A what?
A polymath. He was an artist, an inventor, a scientist.
Oh, right. Like, his notebooks are just wild. Sketches of flying machines right next to anatomical studies.
I know.
It's crazy. Ideas for irrigation systems next to explorations of light and shadow.
It's like his mind just never stopped.
Never. Da Vinci's genius was in connecting these totally different fields.
Yeah.
Like, always searching for these, underlying principles of the universe.
I've always loved those lists of questions he made.
Oh, yeah.
Why is the sky blue? How do birds fly? It's like, it makes you realize that even simple things are kind of mysterious.
Totally. He saw the world as this giant puzzle to be solved.
What do you think sparked that endless curiosity in him?
Well, I think he understood that being a master wasn't about having all the answers. It was more about asking the questions, always.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That constant search for knowledge, driven by curiosity. That's what sets Da Vinci apart. And you know what? We all have that same curiosity inside us. We just forget sometimes.
True. So how can we tap into our own Da Vinci level of curiosity?
Well, have you ever thought about making your own list of questions?
Ooh, like a Da Vinci list?
Exactly. Write down 5 things, anything, big or small, that you've always wondered about.
Okay.
Then spend a week researching those things. See where it takes you. You'll be surprised at what you discover and what new things you become passionate about.
I'm adding create my Da Vinci list to my to-do list right now. But Da Vinci wasn't just curious. He was a super keen observer, too.
Oh, yeah. His notebooks are full of these detailed drawings, notes on everything.
Like the flow of water.
Yeah, the flow of water, the structure of the human body. It's amazing.
That wasn't just for fun, was it?
No way. Those observations were the basis for, all his big discoveries. His water movement studies led to better irrigation systems.
Wow.
And his anatomical studies directly influenced his art, made his depictions of the human body so realistic.
It's like he found beauty and knowledge in everything around him.
He did.
But how can we do that? Be more attentive like that, especially with all the distractions we have today.
It's all about training your mind to really see things.
Yeah.
Take 10 minutes right now, just look at something around you.
Okay.
It could be anything. A tree, how the light hits your desk, even just your own breath.
Our breath.
Yeah. Really observe it. What details do you notice that you normally wouldn't? You'll be surprised by the beauty and complexity you find when you slow down.
I like that challenge. We're always rushing around, but sometimes pausing and observing is what we need. But even Da Vinci, with all his genius, he had setbacks too. His flying machine, for example. It never actually flew.
That's right.
Not in his lifetime, anyway.
It's easy to only see Da Vinci's successes. But we can learn so much from his failures, too. Like that flying machine. It may not have taken off then, but his design set the stage for modern aviation. Da Vinci understood that failing wasn't the end. It was just a step on the way to something bigger.
Okay, so how do we change our perspective on failure and see it as a learning experience?
Well, I think it starts by changing how we think about setbacks. Instead of seeing them as a sign of our abilities, we should see them as chances to grow.
Oh, I see.
Think about a time you failed at something.
Yeah.
Big failure. What did you learn from that? What would you have done differently? Those are the moments where we grow the most, even if it doesn't feel good.
I love how you reframe that. Instead of letting failure define us, we can let it refine us. Okay, are you ready for our next visionary?
Bring it on.
Let's step into the electrifying world of Nikola Tesla.
Now, there's a guy who dreamed big, a future most people couldn't even imagine back then.
I know.
His story is so interesting because it shows that tension between being a visionary and actually making those visions real.
Yeah.
His dedication led to incredible discoveries, but it wasn't always easy for him.
Yeah, I can imagine.
It cost him, sometimes, being so ahead of his time, led to periods of isolation and financial hardship.
It makes you realize that society sometimes struggles to keep up with big revolutionary ideas, doesn't it?
It does.
Like Tesla's concept of wireless global communication.
Oh, right. Totally dismissed back then, and now look at us.
It's like he was living in the future while everyone else was stuck in the present. So ahead of his time.
Completely. He could think decades, centuries ahead. His vision for wireless communication, pure science fiction at the time, basically paved the way for Wi-Fi, the internet, everything.
Mind-blowing. So can we even cultivate that kind of visionary thinking? Can we all glimpse into the future like Tesla did?
I think we can. I really do. It begins by letting ourselves dream big, envisioning things that seem impossible now.
Okay.
Think about one bold vision you have for the future. It could be about you, society, technology, anything. Don't hold back. Just let those ideas flow. Write that vision down. Keep it somewhere you'll see it every day. Let it inspire you. Like Tesla said, the present is theirs. The future for which I really worked is mine.
I love that. Owning our future. But vision is only part of it, right? Tesla faced so many setbacks. How did he keep going when things got tough?
That's such a good point. And it leads us to another key lesson from Tesla, maybe the most important one, persistence.
Keep going even when it's hard.
Exactly. Tesla went through so much competition with Edison, people doubting him, but he never gave up on his vision. Never. He just kept refining his ideas, experimenting, pushing boundaries.
Gosh, I think about all the times I've given up too easily.
We all do it.
I need some of that Tesla persistence in my life. Have you ever had a situation where your own persistence really paid off? What helped you keep going?
Oh, definitely. And, persistence isn't just about reaching the goal. It's about the journey, too.
What do you mean?
What you learn along the way, the skills you build, how you grow as a person, those are just as important as the end result.
So true. It's not always about the destination, but the journey. Speaking of journeys aligned with our values, Tesla wasn't just driven by innovation, right?
Right. He really wanted to make the world a better place.
He did.
He prioritized helping people over making a ton of money. I mean, he ripped up his royalties for AC electricity.
Really?
Yeah. He wanted to be affordable, accessible for everyone.
That's incredible. It makes you wonder how different things would be if more people focused on making a difference over profits.
It's a huge question. Tesla's story makes us think, what would we do if money didn't matter? What are we truly passionate about? What brings us joy? If we can find those things, even if it's just a small part of our lives, it can make a huge difference.
That's a great thought to carry with us as we move on to our next amazing figure, Marie Curie.
Let's do it. From Tesla's world of electricity, we're stepping into, radioactivity with Marie Curie. This is a woman who didn't just discover things, she really broke down barriers.
Especially in a field totally dominated by men back then. It's got to be tough, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Not just as a scientist, but as a woman in that world.
Yeah.
But she didn't just discover things. She actually used her knowledge to help people, saved lives with her work on radioactivity. It's pretty amazing. What parts of her journey really stand out to you?
It's her dedication to learning throughout her whole life, even with all the challenges she faced. Imagine studying science in Paris, living in poverty,
Oh, wow.
dealing with all that pressure from society and from her field, and still she never stopped. That led her to those huge discoveries,
Yeah.
polonium and radium. It really shows you what perseverance can do.
It reminds me that learning never really ends, does it? It's a constant journey. Makes me think about how I can, be better about my own learning. How can we all cultivate that kind of lifelong learning, like Curie? What are some practical things we can do?
Well, how about this? Try learning one new thing every single week. Just one thing.
One thing a week. Okay.
Yeah. It could be a skill you want to learn, a recipe you've been meaning to try, even just some cool science fact.
Yeah.
The important thing is to make it a habit, keep your mind engaged and curious.
I like that, like a little personal challenge.
Exactly.
And then maybe share what we learn with others. Kind of spreads that love of learning around.
Oh, totally. It's about creating a community of learners, sharing knowledge and making it useful.
That's great. Curie's story isn't just about academics, though, is it? It's about courage, breaking down those barriers, going into spaces where women weren't really welcome, like the Sorbonne, even the Nobel Committee.
It's so true. And her courage wasn't just about her own goals, She wanted to challenge how things were done and create opportunities for other people, especially women. She knew that real progress means making things more inclusive, fair for everyone.
Have you ever hit a barrier like that in your life? Something holding you back?
Oh, definitely.
What can we do, thinking about Curie's example, to challenge those barriers, not just for ourselves, but to help others who face them too?
It's about finding that strength inside, to push past what we think our limits are. Speaking up for ourselves and for others takes guts to challenge those norms, to create change, but the impact can be huge.
So powerful. And Curie didn't just make discoveries, she actually used them to make a real difference in the world, like those mobile X-ray units she developed during World War I.
Yeah, they saved so many lives on the battlefields. Her legacy is so much more than just science. She shows us how to use our skills to solve real problems, that we can make a real impact, even when things are really tough.
That even small actions can make a difference.
Exactly. It might seem small, but it can have a ripple effect and reach so many people. It reminds us that we all have a part to play in making the world better.
It's pretty inspiring. So what are you doing today that might have a positive impact on the world, even in a small way? Maybe volunteering, donating to a cause, or even just trying to be more environmentally conscious?
That's a great question to think about. Are our actions lining up with our values? What are we doing to make things even a little bit better? Even the tiniest actions, when a lot of people do them, can make huge changes. We all have that power.
It's true. So we've talked about Da Vinci, Tesla, and Curie, but there are so many other incredible minds throughout history who did amazing
Oh,
things.
so many. It's like this whole constellation of inspiring people, each one showing us a different way to live a life that means something.
Let's take a little detour and highlight a few more of those awesome folks. How about Albert Einstein, the ultimate imagination guru? He once said, "Imagination is more important than knowledge." That always stuck with me.
Oh yeah, great quote.
Knowledge is important, it's the base, but imagination is what lets us build something amazing from it.
Einstein's right. His theories of relativity completely changed how we understand the universe.
I know.
And it all came from being willing to question everything, to imagine things no one else had thought of. Like, he messed with how we see space and time. And by doing that, he opened up whole new areas for science to explore.
And think about how he explained those super complex ideas in such a simple way, like that famous equation E-MMCS.
Right, energy and mass, all wrapped up in a neat little package.
Profound and easy to understand, both at the same time. It shows how good he was at seeing through all the complexity to find the core of an idea.
He knew that real understanding comes from finding the simplest, most elegant explanation.
So how can we be more playful and imaginative like Einstein when we're trying to solve problems? Think about a problem you have now, personal, work, whatever. Don't just try to solve it logically. Approach it with curiosity and wonder. What crazy solutions might pop up if you think outside the box?
It's about getting back to that childlike curiosity and wonder that we lose as we grow up. Sometimes the most innovative solutions come from letting go of our preconceived notions and approaching problems with fresh eyes.
Love that. Okay, next up, let's talk about Mahatma Gandhi, the king of leadership and resilience. Be the change you wish to see in the world. That's him. And he didn't just say it, he lived it, leading a nonviolent movement for India's independence, even when it seemed impossible.
Gandhi's life is like a textbook on peaceful resistance. He understood that true leadership isn't about bossing people around, it's about giving them the power to create change themselves.
And his resilience, it's mind-blowing. He was imprisoned, beaten, people constantly threatened him, but he never gave up on what he believed in, never stopped believing in nonviolence and truth.
It shows us that real strength isn't about physical power. It's about having strong beliefs and the courage to stand up for them no matter what.
So inspiring. Inspired by Gandhi, what's one small act of kindness or justice you can do this week? It could be volunteering, donating, speaking out against injustice, anything that helps create a more just and compassionate world.
It doesn't matter how small it seems. When we all do something, it creates a ripple effect. We all have a responsibility to build a better future.
Okay, last but not least, Amelia Earhart, the queen of courage and breaking norms. She famously said, "The most effective way to do it is to do it." And boy, did she live by that. First woman to fly solo across the Atlantic, pushing boundaries, defying expectations, inspiring generations of women to chase their dreams fearlessly.
Earhart's story tells us that we don't have to wait for someone to give us permission to follow our dreams. Sometimes you just have to take that leap and believe in yourself. Even if we don't always reach our goals, the act of trying, pushing ourselves, that's a win in itself.
It's about having that can-do attitude, that unshakable belief in what we're capable of, and understanding that failure isn't the opposite of success. It's a stepping stone to achieving something amazing.
Yes, it's about shifting our mindset. Don't be afraid to fail. Celebrate courage and determination.
Love it. So, taking a page from Earhart's book, what's something you've been afraid to try? something you've been putting off. Could be learning a new skill, taking a creative risk, having a tough conversation. Whatever it is, take a small step towards making it happen. Even a tiny step is still progress.
It's about breaking those mental barriers and proving to ourselves that we are capable of more than we think. Embrace the unknown and trust that even if we stumble, we'll learn and grow from it.
Okay, time to wrap up this deep dive into some of history's most incredible minds. Let's take a moment to think about what we've learned. Wow, it's like we've been on this amazing adventure exploring these incredible lives and all the lessons they hold. Where do we even start to unpack all this wisdom?
It's been a lot to take in, hasn't it? But what really strikes me is that despite living in totally different times and doing such different things, they all had these core principles.
Yeah.
Like a common thread running through their stories. What jumps out at you? That constant search for knowledge, that passion for what they did, and that, like, unwavering belief in what humans can achieve. It's pretty powerful.
And it makes me think that those qualities, they're not just for geniuses or historical figures, right? We can all tap into that.
Exactly. We can all cultivate those things within ourselves and make our lives richer, more meaningful.
So as we think back on all we've learned, Da Vinci's curiosity, Tesla's vision, Curie's courage, Einstein's imagination, Gandhi's resilience, and Earhart's bold action, what spoke to you the most?
That's the big question, isn't it? What's one thing, one idea or principle that you'll actually put into practice in your own life starting today?
Yeah, that's the real challenge. It's not enough to just hear about it. We got to do something with it. And as we wrap up our deep dive, I want to leave you with a thought, a quote that really captures what we've been talking about. Great minds don't set out to be extraordinary. They set out to ask questions, imagine possibilities, and leave the world a little better than they found it.
And you know what? You can do that too. Every single one of us has the power to make a difference, to leave our own mark. It starts with believing in yourself, being curious, and never letting go of your dreams.
So go out there, ask those questions, imagine those possibilities, and make your mark.
It's been so great exploring these incredible minds with you and all our listeners.
Me too. Keep those brains working, stay curious, keep learning. And until next time, happy deep diving, everyone.